Hello, and thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Carol Jenkins. The program is Black America. We have as our guests today two megastars in the realm of hairstyling. Stacey Ciceron is a celebrity hairstylist just named an ambassador of Oribe, and Yancey Edwards, an Emmy-nominated celebrity hairstylist and CEO of the Salon, Sheer Insanity. And I love the name of your salon.
Thank you.
Thanks to you both for being here today.
Thank you
so much
for having us.
Yes.
You are legends in your, your own young time here, So I do want to say that I do know Yancey's dad.
Yes.
He's married to a very good friend of mine. This is the first time that we've met, however.
Absolutely.
So, but when I saw him, I said, "You look just like your father." And your dad was always so wonderful to my mom. He's a musician, would come and play for her and all. So it is my thrill to have you on today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's just amazing. It's two different artists, but we still under the same umbrella, you know?
Both artists, artists.
Yes.
And Stacey, you are like incredibly popular, shall we say. Tell us a little bit about how you got started in this business. I understand that you could have been part of the CUNY family because you attended John Jay Criminal Institute.
Yes. Early on, I think it was very clear what my path was supposed to be. At least it was to me, and people close to me, like friends and family, always playing in hair, always playing in my neighbors. I find that people trusted me very, very early on. But growing up, I think back then, we're talking about 20 plus years ago, there was still certain stigma around the arts, creative fields, hairdressing, makeup, just artistry, where it just wasn't really seen as a real job. So I struggled a lot with kind of suppressing what my real passions were to find something real, something stable in corporate America.
And as I understand, your parents were very insistent too, right?
Yeah, I think that, looking back, they really wanted what was best for me. They wanted a life that was stable and secure, just like they had. So, they definitely wanted me to not, stop playing around and get serious.
Get serious.
And
do you say to them now, this is serious, guys?
This is serious. I mean, the kid in me still wants to impress them, still wants to blow them away. I think we just want to get this reaction of finally like, wow, my daughter did this. I'm still waiting for the big one. I'm still waiting for the big one,
Right.
But yeah, I think that it just ended up being a blessing, though. I mean, they say hindsight is 20/20. It's just been a blessing because I think it made me so determined to be more successful in the beauty business.
Right.
And not be the average person behind a chair working, burning themselves out, and really having nothing to show for it. So I was just determined to be super successful in my field.
And you are. I'm going to call your parents up. You know
Let
what?
them know, right?
Your daughter is a star.
Yes.
Now, Yancey, I want you to, if you see him reaching over to touch Stacey's hair, he's been doing it the entire
you
time.
got to make sure she's right.
Right, right.
This is what happens when you have hairstylists on set. I'm like, wait a minute, get that hair out of there.
Right.
We know the angles, we know everything,
Yes.
So you were how old when you decided that this was going to be your career?
I was 27 years old.
What did you do before? What was
Some of everything.
everything?
Back in those days in the 90s, you can actually not have a high school diploma and just have a job and make it. We all had money in the 90s. It was like you can spend your money on Monday, go to a club on Friday, have a whole pocket full of money. Today, not so much. The dollar bill is very scarce. So, at that time, I really had to sit around and think about what I wanted to do with myself,
Yeah, and how did you confirm that it was hairstyling?
I think hairstyling really chose me because I went to hair school to be a barber. When I realized that I was only going to get $10 a pop, I said, oh, wait a minute, I got to figure this out.
Something's wrong with this formula.
But the good thing about in New Jersey, we have to do everything, men and women's hair, so I was trained in both. Mm-hmm. So, my thing was, what was this 6'5" guy going to do in the hair department? So
Right.
I had a lot of them things to really kind of get over.
Well, it's a good thing you chose the hairstyling. My son still complains if he has to pay more than $10 in this day.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Haircut.
Yes,
So,
yes.
you could have been there, but now I must say, you're Emmy nominated.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about all of that. I'm sure that some of our viewers know what The View is.
Yes, I worked at The View for 4 years, and that's where my Emmy nomination came from. I worked with some wonderful people in television, from Barbara Walters, Whoopi Goldberg, and things of that nature. When you're working with those type of people, how can you not have yourself together, you know? So that was a real blessing, you know? And I said, wow, a guy from the hood from Brooklyn, New York to East Orange, New Jersey,
right.
Emmy nominated. It just let me know that anything is just possible, you know?
Right. Well, tell us, who was the crankiest of The View members? No, you can't. You don't have to tell.
Yeah, I was about to say.
We can guess, but what an experience. And now, Stacey, you've done all of the magazines, all of the runways, all of that. What stands out in your mind as sort of the thing that you did and you said, wow, this is really something?
Well, you know, that's, I always give such a long answer. Do we have time?
We do.
You know why? Because, you know, growing up, you set your goal. I want to have my own salon. I want to work with celebrities. Again, whatever the top thing is, that's really what I wanted to do. But the thing that impressed me most is that when I work with CEOs or celebrities, the type of connections that I make, just in conversation and the lifelong connections that I've made with my clients.
Right. Well, so now you're a walking example of what natural hair should be, even though Yancey is still trying to place every single.
She's wonderful.
But there, you know, we had to pass laws so that women could wear their hair in a natural state.
Yeah.
Now, and you have talked about this journey. We have a short clip. Let's play that now, and then we'll talk on the other side.
When I decided to go natural, I decided to do the big chop. When you're transitioning, you have to grow out your natural texture. I literally took electric clippers and went right down the middle of my hair. I fully committed to just chopping my hair off. And I felt free, I felt liberated, I felt so powerful that as a woman, I was able to make this kind of decision and not care at all.
Talk about freedom, right?
Wow.
Like that.
They didn't play the 2 minutes after that. What happened after I cut the hair off, you know?
And what was that? So
Well,
then you were bald or close to bald?
Yeah, very close to bald. But
Right.
after that liberating feeling, I was alone when that happened. So I felt liberated to myself. But shortly after, I realized, oh my gosh, I have to go into the real world. What are other people going to think about me?
Right.
So that's what happened after that freeing
and what
moment.
did they? What was the reaction?
It was mixed, more bad than good, honestly, and it really affected me psychologically, emotionally, just as a woman, having your beauty attached to your hair. Growing up, that your hair is your crown and your glory, and just not realizing how much of a security blanket the hair could really be. So for me to commit to shaving it off, but I didn't really have to deal with the people until I left my house.
Right.
And having to feel more feminine, less attractive, wearing more makeup, jewelry, just to prove my femininity, but to who? But it was really to myself. I didn't realize that.
But see, that's the thing today. Today is so many copies. You know, I remember growing up, it was about individuality, and I remember my parents teaching, it's about being a leader, never a follower. Today is okay to admit that you follow, that you admit that you're a fan of someone.
Yeah.
I remember, like, me growing up, it was like more about you make sure you're secure, make sure you're together, make sure you love you, and you're proud of who you are and what you are. And that was it. Today is just so different. Everything is such in a group. Like, everyone wants to be like a Rihanna or like a Nicki Minaj. It's like, I remember back in those days when Grace Jones came out.
Yeah.
Right.
She was so bold and so fearless, and those type of women are like,
Love Grace.
those type of women are like kind of rare today, you know?
So we were talking a little bit about this before the show, the impact of social media, but isn't that what it's all about? You're following, you know, people, you know, and you have followers, but you follow people.
But see, that's a good and a bad thing because it also brings comparison into people. So it's like, if I've been doing here for 10 years and you've been here for 5 years, you got more than me, then I should feel bad. See, that's the thing that social media, the negative part of social media.
Yeah.
Now, the positive part of social media, if you're mature enough to handle it, you can use it as your middleman because no more do we have PR people, do we have managers. We now are in control of our careers via social media. That's how large it is, you know? And people don't really get that. So you have an opportunity to reach people all over the world just by your social media alone.
Right, and we were talking about your career, and you were saying that right at this point, most of the people who are looking for you are corporations.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, things have been changing. I think that 8+ years ago, 10 years ago, even more, women were experimenting with going natural. And even saying it, it just feels kind of weird saying it because going natural, like this is how you were born, right?
Right.
This is the way your hair is coming out of your head. So going natural, it's like, no, you're natural. You're going back to, you're going back to yourself. So what I think is that corporations are noticing that there's a big gap, and I think they saw it maybe as a liability before, or maybe they weren't going to get a lot of return on their investment before, but they're realizing that they're suffering because they're not addressing women of color or women with highly textured hair. So where I come in is that with my unique stance, which I feel is unique, is that I went natural. To be one of the people so that I can really deliver valuable information. I'm a product junkie, so I read ingredients. I'm a professional hairstylist. I work behind a chair, and working with these companies, I was able to travel the world and listen to the needs and challenges and concerns of the consumer and everyday women. But also as a stylist, I was able to see, well, what are the challenges that professional stylists are having? So when I talk to corporations, we're talking about inclusion, we're talking about diversity. I also talk to them about the emotion behind it, the psychology behind it, the challenges behind it. So let's not just take money and make products, but how are we now going to strengthen and empower these women, give them tools where, that really help them out.
Here's where the big thing comes in there, because these companies now know that natural hair is a money maker in the market.
This is what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
See, now,
absolutely.
So they were smart because they got her. She's a gold mine. Right. Her hands been in it. So of course they're gonna go to her because you know what? You look on the runways. You look Miss America. These women now are embracing their natural hair texture like never before. So it behooves the professional corporation to get a hold of it, because if you go inside the Walgreens and the Walmarts and all these little big chain stores, they're selling natural hair products right at the register.
So you did work for Shea Moisture for a while, and of course the owner, the creator of that company, did really well.
Yes.
And now has bought Essence Magazine and Villa Luara and doing so many other things. So is that the impetus if they see Black businesses doing fantastically and they want a piece of that market?
You know what? I think it's a little bit of everything, especially what you're saying. But one thing that I can say that I was impressed by with certain companies that reached out to me is that they reached out to me. They have been many times, believe it or not, where they're just generating the product. They're trying it in the office on themselves with men and women that don't have hair that look like mine. So they're not really taking time out to create a luxury or a good product that is going to really serve the community. And a lot of times they're not giving back. They're really just taking. Absolutely. And I was really adamant about that. Listen, if I'm going to take on this project, we can't just take. We have to be able to give back too. But to answer your question, the natural hair or the highly textured hair market is a $2.5 billion market. That's money that they're
billion with a B.
Billion with a B.
We're not talking about relaxers.
No, and that's what. Well, I'm not certain if that includes relaxers, but the black hair market, and that's a huge gap, and there's so much room for everyone. But of course, certain corporations, they have the resources to be able to produce. But I would say that yes, there is a big need. They did see the success, but remember back then, it just seemed like a phase that people were going to. Now it's a revolution.
It is.
We're changing laws.
Right.
People are showing up on the red carpet.
Yes.
They're stepping into their office this way.
Wakanda.
It's here to stay. It's here to stay. So,
and now you're an ambassador for Orbit. What does that mean?
Well, what that means is now I represent the company. I'm able to teach the consumers about the product and how to use it, for my my
perspective.
standpoint.
But you're the
yeah.
face, you're the voice, you're the teacher, you're the.
Yeah. So what happens is they had already had a collection that catered to textured hair, to curly hair, wavy hair, but it wasn't until about a year and a half ago they started working on a collection that catered to highly textured hair, which is a tighter curl, a tighter coil that has completely different needs. And that's when they brought me in to say, hey, what can we do to make it? Because if we can't do it right, we're not going to do it at all.
Right.
So that's when they reached out to me.
Well, it's hilarious. You know, my grandchildren, I have 2 granddaughters who are, you know, we went through the whole realm of mixed chicks.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
every single variation of how curly is your hair, really.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you know that it ranges. It's not really an ethnic or cultural thing. I just believe hair
It's
is
texture.
hair. Yeah.
It's about texture.
I like your
So-
style.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You know.
So it's all
So-
about just educating yourself on what you have on your head.
What you have. So talk to us about the salon now. How has that changed through these years? You are so busy. Getting an appointment with you is not an easy thing. It's like booking.
Well, let me tell you, it's a blessing, definitely. But, you know, I definitely know that there is a need for me in my community because I do things like this. And I think people in my community need to see that, you know, there is opportunities and there are ways out of the streets and things of that nature. But being in the salon was something, part of our culture growing up. Even in a household, on Sundays, what happens on Sundays? Everybody's getting their hair done for Monday. Everybody's crying, screaming, getting their hair scorched. And
I think
that's
I
how
was
it
in
started.
that crowd, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
So that's how it
suffered
started.
many of the year.
But how it changed is that women are no longer doing hair as a lifestyle. Women do hair more now as fads now. Like back in the days, it was nothing for women. That was their 2-week appointment, every week appointment. Now today they do for special events, special occasions. And it's not even for Easter and Mother's Day anymore. Now it's more like I'm going to the prom now and I'm doing this now. So
Hair and makeup, the whole thing.
You're like, it's just a whole other ball game now. Like definitely today's woman is definitely different. Definitely.
Who are can you name the people that you think are really doing it the right way, of the celebrities that you're dealing with? Do you have like
Today?
Yeah,
today. Because I say, if
today.
we're talking about yesterday, we can go on for days
I
from
know.
yesterday. But I mean, today, I think Beyonce does a great job. You know, standing for a woman, showing like her work ethics. You know, I'm not saying I'm a huge Beyonce fan, but you gotta respect her work ethics. You know, and if she can inspire women, I mean, I think she does a great job at that, you know?
Yeah.
So many other, I hate when you name people because it's like, dog, I should have
I
named
know.
her.
Should have Stacey.
I think who inspires me that always comes to top of mind are people like Lupita Nyong'o, as far as style, because they really are pushing the envelope when it comes to their different looks and showing what textured hair can do.
Tracy Ellis Ross, too.
Yes, yes.
Love her style. She's a
Right.
bad lady.
Right.
They're not
Well-
afraid to just grace the runway and the red carpet with different looks. Taraji P. Henson, Viola Davis. Do you remember when Viola Davis came onto the red carpet with the fro?
Yes.
But it was with like this high lift color.
Yes.
So it was no mistake, like I'm
I'm here.
So we're recording this just after the Met, you know, the big
Right.
event there was. Who
Yes.
stood out there for you? Anybody
But you
in this
know,
recent one?
You know, Lady Gaga's mother. You know, you can't even include her. You just let her do her thing. You just try and do whatever you can do.
Right.
But you know, Naomi Campbell was amazing. Cardi B was amazing. There was a lot of people that just were
I second that. I
amazing.
second that.
Cardi B or what else?
Yeah, I think that everybody, I'm just inspired by, you know,
I'm just-
everybody walking,
yeah.
and the carpet was pink this year.
Yes,
so,
yeah, it was really.
Yeah, it's
that
just,
was a great thing.
Right.
I love
so,
the fact that
so,
they stretch the imagination
Yeah,
when it comes to
absolutely.
that
Right.
night.
So what's the other big event? I know that you know, in the runway business. What and you've done Paris and Milan and
Paris, Milan, Miami, New York.
Right.
But you know, I had a lot of fun on Project Runway also. So that was like a runway every other day that we had to do stuff like that. We were able to try different looks in a short amount of time. The contestants, they were competing, you know, to win.
Right.
But as the stylist backstage, we
I'm
had
sure.
to help them to create these looks in a short amount of time too. So that was also very fun.
Right, right. Now, having the people who are on The View sitting in your chair every morning, you know, really early in the morning and getting ready for those shows, that must have been something. Did they say to you, no, Yancey, not like this today, or just do your magic?
Well, sometimes, but you know, in certain situations like that, they have a certain look that they have to have. You know, that's where they got their job as. You can't come there with green hair. It's like it's not going to work. So you basically try to just keep everybody close to their natural, what you would see them on TV as. You might change a part from here to here, but that's basically about it. You know?
Right, right. And you also did Bonner Brothers, or what?
Oh yeah, I'm always at Bonner Brothers every year. That's how I got my start. That's how I learned about Dudley's and things of that nature. We were just speaking earlier how she graduated from Dudley's.
Yep.
See, these were the things.
Tell us Dudley's. What's
Well, Dudley's Cosmetology University started with Joe Dudley's Sr.
Yes.
Black-owned company, still a black-owned company.
To today.
To this day, they started going door-to-door selling products. He opened his university in North Carolina. And again, I wanted to have the biggest experience I could possibly have going to beauty school. So packing my bags and going to North Carolina was a big deal for me.
Yeah, it
and
was.
going to, at the time, that was the top black education.
And that was the thing to do. If
That
you
was
wanted
it,
to,
yeah.
if you wanted to be, and you know, and I thank God for that type of education, for my mom being able to put me through that type of schooling, because it trained me well. Because it's like today, you have to have a revolving door, because you never know who's sitting in your chair, especially working in television and movies and things of that nature.
Right, right. So I was asking you earlier if you felt that the next generation is going to be able to use your tools, your skills to reach this level of success, or is it totally different for them because of social media?
It's definitely totally different. It's so different.
You were talking about the Rolodex, right?
Yeah, like with my mom and stuff like that. I try to school my mom on things that Mom, we're in 2019.
Yeah.
No, but she's still a paper lady. She's still
Right.
filing.
Yeah.
You know, but that's just her thing. But how things have changed today is because through social media, they're able to build all these type of characters and things sometimes just not real. You know, so they do one eyelash, they got like 1 million likes. And they're like, oh my God, I'm gonna hire them. They hire them on set, they can't do the work.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the problem that we're having a lot of times today, and I love my new millennials, but they wanna start here. They don't wanna grow. We just wanted to get inside the building.
Right.
We didn't care. We had to throw out the garbage. Like, growing up in this industry, I just wanted to be a part of it. It wasn't about the money, because I knew the money was gonna come. You know, because anything that you have passion for, the money gotta come. It has to. You know, so that was more of my look on things. I just wanted to get in the building. I want to be a part of. I want to shake hands. I want to rub shoulders. Today now everybody says it's like click, click,
Right,
click,
right.
click, 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 which really desensitizes the
Right,
people.
right.
No one knows how to be social.
Right. Do you find that you predict that kind of
Yeah, I
problem too, or-
think for me, back in the day when we wanted to work with celebrities, we had to kind of maneuver. How can I get the contact? Who are they working for? Work for this salon or that agency? It was a lot of different hoops to get to them. Now you can private message, DM. They may get back to you. They may not. But you have so much more access. So I think that they may be inspired by our work or our work ethic or things that we produce, but it may happen for them at a faster speed, which could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing.
The microwave, it's a microwavable generation.
So as we come to the close of every segment, this is too good.
Already?
That was quick.
I know.
And we were talking.
We definitely have to have you back. But we always ask you to finish the statement, the power or the strength of Black America. What is that for each of you? Yancey?
The power and the strength of Black America is loving your brother.
Oh,
We have to love one another, you know, and it's just nice to be nice.
Okay.
I
Stacey?
mean, pretty close. I definitely think love, education, forgiveness, unity. These are some of the things that we have to, awareness, we have to embrace that in order to move on.
Well, you two are moving on. I'm calling your parents. You have to give me their...
She made it.
Right.
She did it.
And I'm calling everybody, your dad too, you know.
Yes.
I'm very proud to have had you both on the show.
Thank you so
Proud
much for
of the
having me.
contribution
Yes, it
and
was
your
beautiful. Thank you.
success.
Oh, yes.
I'm too far away for a kiss. I want
Oh, no, you could always get some.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you so
Stacey
much.
Ciceron and Yancey Edwards. And thanks to you all out there for joining us as well. I'm Carol Jenkins. The program is Black America, and we'll see you the next time. We'll just have to have you all come back.